सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीं त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः। ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तन्न विदुःसुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः। The topic we have selected this year is the concept of Yajna in the Bhagavad Gita. Yajna is a well-known word and most well-known in the Vedic times. The word Yajna is derived from Yaj in the sense of worship. So Yajna means worshipping. Worshipping whom? Worshipping Ishvara, who manifests in the form of various devatas or deities. So in the Vedic times, Yajna was a ritual which was the process of worshipping different devatas, who are the manifestations of one Ishvara. That Yajna was a great institution actually. We are all familiar with the traditional Yajna or the fire ritual. And in the Vedic times, to perform the ritual, you needed the help of a whole village. Beginning from masons who will prepare the altar, the brick maker, bricklayer, you needed carpenters, of course you needed priests, and the various materials which were to be offered to devatas, you needed of course the agriculturists, you needed the traders, businessmen. So all these people you needed. You of course needed the audience. And during this, it was like a big, community ceremony. The occasion of Yajna also was utilized to invite other scholars, learned brahmanas, learned pandits, who would participate in the ceremony or who would attend the ceremony. In the evenings, there will be discussions on the scriptures, discussions on the meaning of the scriptures, discussions on what is dharma or the right way of doing things. So thus, the Yajna was an institute which brought everybody together, which required the combined effort of almost all the people, and it also benefited everybody. And our Bada Swamiji translated Yajna as cooperative effort. You may say that the explanation or the translation of the Yajna, which in the Vedic times was used for a given ceremony, a fire ritual, then slowly began being used in a more general or sense. And that is the sense in which Lord Krishna used the word Yajna in the Bhagavad Gita. Of course, the fire ritual is what is meant by Yajna. In that fire ritual, it was a cooperative effort, number one. And number two, the main element of the ritual was making offering. In the altar that was prepared, fire would be kindled, and that fire, different devatas or gods would be invoked, an offering will be made with utterance of chantings, mantras. Om Indraya Swaha, Agnaya Swaha, Prajapate Swaha. So that is the traditional meaning of the word Yajna. But Lord Krishna used that concept to make it more meaningful to everyone. There, that Yajna, the fire ritual, the ceremony, was only confined to a Yajnashala, which only involved worshipping certain devatas. But Lord Krishna used that concept, the sense of performing any action, any righteous action, where some sacrifice is made or some offering is made. Therefore, it is not what you offer. In the conventional Yajna, what you offer was important. There were specified materials to be offered to specific devatas. But Lord Krishna took the main element of that, the spirit of offering. Not what you offer, but that you have the spirit of offering. And these devatas like Indra, Varuna, Agni, all of these devatas are the manifestations of one Ishvara. And therefore, any action performed in the spirit of offering to Ishvara is called Yajna in the Bhagavad Gita. So the Yajna, which was confined formerly to only Yajnashala and to certain rituals, is made much more wide to make it applicable to every human being in the day-to-day life. That's what Lord Krishna teaches in the 3rd chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Remember that this Upadesha or teaching is imparted to Arjuna. And Arjuna represents a regular human being like you and I. I should not include all of you, but generally you and I, who is grieving, who is grief-stricken, who has sadness in the life. Shoka and moha. Shoka, sadness or grief, and moha, the delusion. So shoka and the moha, the grief and delusion, are the basic problems of human being. That's how Adi Shankaracharya explains Bhagavad Gita. That although Bhagavad Gita is taught to a particular person, namely Arjuna, in a given situation, such as in the battlefield, under given circumstances when Arjuna said that he will not fight the battle, all the specifics are there for the teaching of Arjuna, Bhagavad Gita. In Veda it's called Akhyayika. It's like an anecdote, like a story. It was traditional in the Vedic times to impart the teaching in the format of a story or anecdote, to make it more real to us. That a given teaching in fact took place from a given person to another person, and for us to easily understand the teaching, it used to be imparted in the form of a story. So as far as we are concerned, the teaching of Bhagavad Gita also is imparted in the context of a story or an anecdote. Meaning that the specific elements of story may not apply to us, but the spirit would apply to us. The spirit is that Arjuna, who is the recipient of the teaching, is portrayed as the one who is grieving, who is very sad or grief-stricken. In fact, Shankaracharya described that he was as though immersed in the ocean of grief. So Lord Krishna found that Arjuna was immersed in the ocean of grief, and not finding any way of rescuing Arjuna from that grief, Lord Krishna imparted this teaching of Bhagavad Gita as a means where Arjuna is an instrument, where as a means of teaching every human being. Because what applies to Arjuna applies to every human being. The sadness or grief is the common sentiment for every human being. For one reason or the other, we do become sad, unhappy, sorrowful. And Lord Krishna addresses that fundamental problem of the human being. The reason why I am mentioning is that the teaching is meant to help us become free from unhappiness, free from sorrow, free from grief, which is our basic problem. You might say that, Swamiji, I am not just interested in becoming free from grief, I want to be happy. Vedanta explains that becoming free from unhappiness and becoming happy are not two different phenomena. Because happiness already exists. Happiness is an accomplished fact. But it is unhappiness or sorrow or the grief that inhibits the manifestation of happiness. Like the sun is already shining in the sky, but the clouds inhibit the manifestation of sun. And therefore, to experience the light, we do not have to produce another sun. We don't have to create light. All we need to do is to remove the clouds which inhibit the manifestation of light. Similarly also, Vedanta explains that this sorrow or sadness that we generally feel. No, Swami, I am not sad, I am a happy person. Thank God, bless you that you are happy. But do you get angry sometimes? Yes, Swami, that I do. Do you feel jealous sometimes? Yes, that I do. Do you feel frustrated? Yes, that I do. Do you blame other people? Yes, I do. Do you blame yourself? Yes, that I do. All of these are manifestations of only grief or sadness. And all of these make us unhappy. I become unhappy when I am complaining, unhappy when I am blaming, unhappy when I am frustrated, unhappy when I am disappointed. So all these things make us unhappy. And we are not happy with unhappiness. We do not want unhappiness. So Bhagavad Gita is a teaching to make us free from this unhappiness, to help us own up our nature of happiness. And just as when there are many layers of clouds which cover the sun, as the clouds get removed layer by layer, we get the glimpse of the sun, and the sunlight becomes more and more clear. It is not that sun will become clear only when all the clouds are removed. As the layers of clouds are removed, sun keeps becoming clearer. Similarly also, as the layers of this sorrow are removed, happiness becomes clearer. Meaning that it is not that someday we'll become happy. It is that every step we become happy. This is a process of discovering happiness to a point where there is no more remains to be done. This is what in fact Arjuna wanted from Lord Krishna. Yashreyasyat nischitam bruhitanme. Please teach me that by which I get everlasting happiness, gaining which nothing remains to be gained, which is the goal of our life. But sometimes people feel that this moksha is a phenomenon, is an experience that happens, meaning that until then you were bound and all of a sudden you become liberated. So, in fact, this becoming free from bondage or sorrow is a process. And therefore, you have validation. Swami, how do I know that I am making progress? How do I know that I am on the right path? You yourself are the evidence. When you feel happier and happier inside, you will know that you are on the right path. So this teaching is to make us happy. Not someday, at every step. You keep discovering happiness. And Bhagavad Gita, this Yajna is one of the important teachings in the Gita. So we have given you this handout so that we have something to talk about, something that you can relate to. It's not necessary to have verses to talk about this. But when you have something before you, perhaps it will be more meaningful. That's the reason why we selected some verses here. A section from the 3rd chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. So let us begin with the first verse. Let me recite one line. You please repeat after me. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Niyatam Kuru Karmatvam Karmajyayo Hyakarmanaha Sharira Yatra Pichate Na Prasiddheda Karmanaha. Niyatam Kuru Karmatvam. Tvam Karma Kuru. You perform. Niyatam Karma. Lord Krishna says, you perform the obligatory duties. Niyatam Karma is translated as obligatory duties. Because Karma Jayo Hya Karmana. Because action is superior to inaction. So, like us, Arjuna also wants to be happy. Everybody has his or her own understanding of how to become happy. So Arjuna's understanding was that the situation in front of me, namely fighting this battle, was the cause of my unhappiness. We find ourselves unhappy, let us say. So how do we become happy? By removing the cause of unhappiness. And that's exactly what we are constantly doing. Removing causes of unhappiness. Stomachache, take some medication. Headache, another medication. Hunger, something else. Thirst, something else. House is too small, bigger house. Meaning, the steps that we take constantly are the steps to become free from unhappiness. When something makes us unhappy, then we want to become free from that unhappiness. Right now also, if the temperature is too much, then immediately we'll start, fanning ourselves. If it becomes too cold, then we'll wrap ourselves with some shawl. Meaning that this is our constant activity, is to become free from unhappiness by becoming free from the cause of unhappiness. So whatever we think is the cause of unhappiness, we want to remove that. If you think that, sometimes people feel, Swamiji, since we came to this house, we are unhappy. Something about this house. We'll leave that house. Because the house is the cause of unhappiness. Swamiji, my job. and my boss causes a lot of stress, source of unhappiness, give up. My spouse, give up. So whatever in our opinion causes unhappiness, we want to give up that cause of unhappiness, because we know when the cause goes away, the effect goes away. So everybody has his or her understanding of what makes me unhappy, what is the cause of unhappiness. Arjuna's conclusion was, there is a situation in front of me where I am required to fight with my own kith and kin, with my own kinsmen, that this battle will bring about a lot of death, unpleasantness. So Arjuna's conclusion was that this situation, this battle, this requirement from me that I have to perform this action of fighting battle, this is the cause of sorrow. So you want to desist from that? You can't blame him. Everybody wants to desist from that which they consider to be the source of sorrow. For Arjuna, action is the cause of sorrow. Which action? Duty. Who is Arjuna? Is a Kshatriya, warrior class. What is his duty? His duty is to protect the society, protect the dharma, protect righteousness. But in that process, he is required to fight against the force of unrighteousness. And those forces happen to be his own near and dear ones. And therefore, he desisted from that. He said, I will not fight this battle. Again, Arjuna's situation doesn't apply to us. But in general, in our own way, we always judge what is the cause of sorrow, and we want to desist from that cause. And our general conclusion is that the cause of sorrow is out there. This person is the cause of sorrow. This situation is the cause of sorrow. This outcome is the cause of sorrow. This challenge or action is the cause of sorrow. Our general conclusion is that the cause of sorrow is out there. And therefore, we are constantly rearranging things around ourselves, adjusting things around ourselves, so as to create a situation which is conducive, which is favorable, which is convenient, so that I will become free from sorrow. So going from this house to another house, I'll be happy. From this job to another job, I'll be happy. From this place to another place, I'll be happy. That's our conclusion. And that's what drives all our activities. So Arjuna thinks that fighting this battle is a cause of sorrow. So what does Lord Krishna say? Niyatam kuru karmatvam. Here Arjuna, may you perform your duty. Meaning perform this karma, take up this challenge that is in front of you. Meaning that Arjuna's conclusion that fighting this battle is the cause of sorrow, or the outcome of this battle is the cause of sorrow, does not seem to be right from the standpoint of Lord Krishna, because he said you fight your battle. See how there are two different standpoints. Arjuna's standpoint is that this situation, this battle itself is the cause of sorrow, whereas Lord Krishna says you fight this battle, you perform your duty. Why would that be? Isn't Arjuna right? Is it not that this battle will cause unhappiness to him? Is not that the outcome will cause unhappiness to him? Lord Krishna does not seem to think so. Meaning that, like us, Arjuna's conclusion that the cause of sorrow lies outside that does not seem to be the opinion of Lord Krishna. He seems to think that cause of sorrow does not lie outside that. Don't think that this duty, the need to perform this action, need to fight this battle, you think that that is the cause of sorrow. It is not so. Then what? Lord Krishna says, fight the battle, meaning that it is in fact meant to make you free from sorrow. Look at this. Arjuna thinks that fighting this battle and performing the duty will cause him all the sorrow. But when Lord Krishna says, perform your duty, that means that that is a means of making you free from sorrow. Totally opposite standpoints. Niyatam kuru karmatvam. You perform the duty that you are required to perform. Karma jayo hya karmana. Because karma, doing what is right, akarma means remaining inactive, desisting from activity, not doing the duty, not taking up the challenge. Rather than that, doing the duty is always better. But Lord Krishna, don't you see here that performing his action will bring about so much unpleasant consequences? It will bring about unpleasant consequences. Lord Krishna says, unpleasant also is your conclusion. What is pleasant and what is unpleasant? If a given thing happens, it is called pleasant. If another thing happens, it is called unpleasant. Lord Krishna seems to say that there is no such thing as pleasant or unpleasant, that a given thing is necessarily pleasant or a given thing is unpleasant, there is no such thing. You think about it and in your mind describe what is unpleasant. Swamiji, loss is unpleasant, gain is pleasant, defeat is unpleasant, victory is pleasant, failure is unpleasant, success is pleasant. Simple thing, is it not so? Lord Krishna does not seem to think so. So the failure is not unpleasant. Should I not become unhappy when I fail? Well, what is failure? It is outcome of an action. You perform an action, there is an outcome. Let us say it is failure. Is it that outcome that necessarily makes us unhappy? No. There is one more step. It is not just failure that makes me unhappy. I go a step further. What is step further? I failed. See, there is a difference here. That an action is performed and there is an outcome which can be called failure if you want to call it. Even that also is a standpoint, by the way. Success and failure also are standpoint. By accepting something is called failure. But that also does not necessarily make me sad. What creates sadness is, I am a failure. So thus, we have a choice of not identifying with the failure or identifying with the outcome. So what makes us unhappy is not the outcome. It is the identification with the outcome, that I failed. Then who failed, Swami? You performed the action, you failed, did you not? Lord Krishna doesn't seem to think so. So you perform an action. Lord Krishna said earlier, Karmanyavadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. You have the responsibility to perform the action. Lord Krishna seems to say that you should take responsibility for that which you control. You should not take responsibility for that which you do not control. If it starts raining and you become sad, it's raining. That's not, I can't help it. It's not because of me. It's cloudy, it's raining, people become sad. But we can't take responsibility for what we don't control. So this distinction is important between what we control and what we do not control. And the first step we can say that we control the effort, but we do not control the outcome of the effort. And therefore, if you want to judge yourself, meaning taking responsibility is judging myself. If I have to judge myself, I should judge myself based on the effort because that I make. But the outcome I do not create, because outcome is determined by many factors which are not within my control. All I can do is to release an arrow from my bow. I have freedom up to that point as to what's the target toward which I am releasing the arrow. Once the arrow leaves my bow, it's not in my control. It is controlled by the laws of nature. I don't control them. If we could control the outcome, there will be no failure. Everybody will become Olympic champions. Is it not so? All the shooting and all the archery, everybody will win. If you control the outcome, who will fail? Everybody will long jump, any game you take, any sport you take, any event. If you can control, you will be a champion. Is it not so? But then there's only one fellow is champion. Only one, because you do not control the outcome. Otherwise there will be no competition, no games at all. If we could control how many runs we can score in cricket, nobody will be out. But we do not control the outcome. This is a simple thing. And therefore, do not take the responsibility for what you do not. Meaning what? Do not judge yourself based on what you do not control. No, what makes me sad? Not failure. I am a failure. It's a different thing. I'm a failure means I'm no good. I'm useless. I'm branding myself as a failure. That means that I am really putting down myself. So Lord Krishna says, I think that an event out there is the cause of my sorrow. That failure is the cause of my sorrow. Arjuna became sad because of the outcome that this action will bring. They will bring so much destruction, etc. And I will be the cause of the destruction. But you are only cause of your effort and not of the outcome. Later on, Lord Krishna would say that you are not even cause of your effort. That's one step higher. Lord Krishna will show, Arjuna, don't feel guilty. Arjuna thinks that I am fighting this battle and I will become the instrument or I will become the agent of killing these people. Then Lord Krishna will say, Nayamanti nahanyate. Understand that Atma neither kills nor gets killed. That's one step higher. And Arjuna, you should not even take the responsibility of this battle. You are not brought about this situation. You are not created the situation. Situation is created for you. A situation is given to us and you have to respond there. I cannot hold myself responsible even for the situation that I have to face because it has been presented to me. So just confining ourselves to take the responsibility or judging ourselves based on what is under our control, we find that there is very little that we control. Yes, there is a free will, but then very little that we control. If we confine our responsibility to that, meaning that branding ourselves based on what we control, we'll find that there is no reason for becoming sad. Yes, a failure is a failure. But then, if I do not judge myself a failure, then I can maintain an equanimity to the mind that okay, this has happened. I can maintain a balance of the mind because once I brand myself as a failure, automatically I become distressed, I become sad because I am no good in my own perception. I expect myself to be happy, and when I am not successful, successful I expect, when I am not, I put down myself. I blame myself, I reject myself, I condemn myself. It is not failure, it is self-condemnation which is the cause of my sadness. So here Lord Krishna makes a very important point. As we said, this teaching is meant to help us become free from sorrow, which we are constantly trying to do. But our understanding of what causes sorrow is quite different from what Lord Krishna's understanding is. So, niyatam kuru karmatvam. Arjuna, you perform your allotted duty. So everybody is given a duty. Everybody has a place in the scheme of things. We are all born here with our own uniqueness. No two persons are identical and no two persons have the same kind of qualifications. Everybody is unique. It is our own problem that we say that this is better than others. This is superior to others. This is our own complex. Only human being has this complex of comparing and branding. No other creature suffers from this complex. Nobody has an inferiority complex and nobody has a superiority complex. There is no comparison. Our Swami always would say that a cow with a broken horn does not feel inferior to a cow which has shapely horns. Although when you sell these cows, even though the cows may be yielding the same quantity of milk, the cow with shapely horn will bring more money than the cow with broken horns. There is not the complex of the cow, it is the complex of the owner of the cow. So, thus we seem to have mastered the art of somehow making ourselves unhappy by branding ourselves constantly. So, niyatam kuru karmatvam. Lord Krishna says, the way to grow in our happiness, the way to grow in our inner purity is to perform what is required to be done. For Arjuna, whatever the situation may be, for us, niyatam karma, what is enjoined duty, what is the right thing to do in a given situation. So Lord Krishna simply says, do what is right. What's the big deal about it? Because there are two choices. One is doing what is right and doing what is convenient. Doing what is right and doing what I like. Very often, what I like is not necessarily right. What is right is not always convenient. Because what is right can be painful. And thereby we have a general tendency to avoid pain, as Arjuna also wanted to avoid pain. His decision of not fighting the battle was because of the tendency to avoid pain. Naturally, human being wants to avoid pain. Therefore, whenever a situation becomes painful, meaning that when doing what is right will cause me some pain, cause me some hardship, cause me to let go something, cause me to put up with endure some pain or suffering, I do not like it. And I take the easy way out. As when the headache comes, this is Swamiji, let the naturopathy will say, let it come. You put up with your headache, put up with your fever, put up with the things. Your body will heal itself. Give the time to the body to heal. This is the right thing to do. What do? Take one pill and swallow it and become free from the headache. I don't want to suffer from headache. I do not want to put up with any pain. And so, take the convenient way out. Except what happens is that my body slowly starts demanding more and more. Where one pill was enough, then I need slowly 2 pills. When 2 are enough, I require 3 pills. Meaning that slowly and slowly, a time will come when the pill will not be effective at all. In which case, there is what? No way to become free from headache. So, in order for avoiding short-term pain, I in fact avoid long-term pain. So, short-term pain gives you, if I suffer the headache, allow my body to heal, and the body to gain that ability and resistance to that, then I want to become free from it. Short-term pain, long-term gain. But the tendency is short-term gain, not realizing that it brings long-term pain. Arjuna also want to go for short-term gain. Avoid this. Avoid the situation. Swami, Lord, let us go away from here. It's too difficult, too demanding, too painful. Lord Krishna could have obliged him. It's all right. Arjuna, you don't want to fight, doesn't matter. Let us go away. But Lord Krishna did not oblige him. Because Lord Krishna knew that that won't help Arjuna. Lord Krishna says in the 18th chapter, Yadahankaramashritya nayotseti manyase Mithesha vyavasayaste prakritistvam niyokshate. If because of ahankara, thinking that you are a scholar and you know what you are doing, in spite of my teaching and in spite of my explaining, giving long explanations, you still decided, Lord, I am not going to fight the battle. Mithesha vyavasayaste, that decision on your part will prove to be wrong. Why? Prakritistvam niyokshati. Your own nature will control you. Meaning that not doing something is not in your control. It is your nature that controls what you do. Right now, you are suppressing your nature and doing something. But a time will come when that nature will take over you and make you what you do not want to do. So, niyatam kuru karmatvam, simple lesson, responding to every situation and doing what is the right thing to do. Every situation calls for us to give an appropriate response, where we are required to play a given role. And the role should be played according to script. What is script? Doing what is right to do. Niyatam kuru karmatvam. This is one simple formula Lord Krishna gave. So advantage of doing what is right and disadvantage of not doing what is right also should be known. So Lord Krishna says in second line, Sharira yatra vijate na prasiddhyet akarmana. Second line says, akarmana. Here, Arjuna, if you remain inactive, meaning you don't do anything, remain inactive, as Arjuna wanted to. Sharirayatra peche na prasiddhe. Lord Krishna says that even maintenance of a body also will become impossible if you just remain inactive. Remaining inactive sounds good, isn't it? Sitting in an armchair and taking it easy. But then, slowly and slowly, your joint will become stiffer and stiffer. The movements will become more and more difficult. The digestion will become difficult. A time will come that it will be difficult even for you to sustain your body. Because body requires movement, action is required. It is action, in fact, a right action that in fact sustains the whole universe, including your own body. In fact, what Lord Krishna means is, and we will further describe, is that understand that you are what you are right now is not just only on account of yourself. You are what you are on account of the contribution of the whole universe in your life. That's what Lord Krishna wants to teach also. That we are not isolated people. Nobody is isolated. The whole universe is a very interconnected, interdependent system. Although the universe may look like made up of elements that are all different from each other, unconnected to each other. The earth is different than this, heaven is different, sun is different, moon is different. It is different from each other, and we may not see any apparent connection between the things. Lord Krishna says that everything in the universe is in fact connected. Well, apart from the fact that physics teaches us that everything is connected by the gravitational force of gravity, etc., or attraction. But in fact, Vedanta teaches something subtler than that. That everything is also connected by a moral law. Not only by the physical law, but by the moral law, by the spiritual law, we are all connected. So physical attractions or forces are there, centrifugal, etc. They are there to balance everything. But that applies only to physical bodies. What the science explains, or physics explains, applies to the physical bodies. So we are not just physical body. We also have an emotional mind, is it not so? We have also an intellect. We also have a self. And therefore, simply rules of physics cannot explain the whole life. Rules of physics of matter can explain the material aspect of our life. But then we are not just material beings, we are spiritual beings. We are a union of matter and spirit both. It's not just matter, matter and spirit. But Swamiji, what you call spirit or consciousness is only property of matter. Because spirit is not, or conscious, not different from matter. Vedanta says no. It's the other way around. As Swami Vivekananda used to say, I am not the body having consciousness, I am consciousness having a body. It's a different perspective. That matter is not the fundamental principle, it's consciousness which is the fundamental principle. Consciousness is not the manifestation of matter, matter is the manifestation of consciousness. And therefore, simply laws of matter will not be able to explain everything about our life. But we are all interconnected. The whole universe is interconnected by, what we may say, the spiritual laws or the moral laws. And that's where we require Vedanta. For that, we require Upanishads. So what does Vedanta teach? What is that connects us all? In the 7th chapter, Lord Krishna says, Mai saramidam protam sutre maneganaiva. Just as the pearls or the jewels are threaded in a thread, so there is a little necklace in which, if it is a pearl necklace, then all the pearls are strung in the thread. What you see are only pearls. We do not see the thread. But without the threads, the pearls could not have been in that harmonious setup, arrangement, which is called a necklace. Is it not so? If the thread was not there, then the pearls could not be in a harmonious arrangement. They will be all scattered. Universe is not a scattered thing. It is a harmonious whole. The Upanishads and Vedas describe that the universe is an organic whole. It's a living organism. Like my body is a living organism, it is an organic whole. Even though it is made up of a number of limbs, a number of organs, but all the limbs and organs are all interconnected, is it not so? The hands may appear to be different from legs, and legs are different from the head, and head is different from stomach. If you take individually, each of them appears to be different from the other, has a different name, different form, different function, and maybe one who does not know the medical science may think that all of these are unconnected to each other. But we know that it is one self that in fact informs all of them that the whole body is one organic whole. It is not, not consisting of unconnected organs or the limbs. It is one organic whole in which all the organs and all the limbs are connected by principle. What's the principle? The principle of cooperation. The hands cooperate with legs, and every cell of the body cooperates with the rest of the cells. Meaning that what the hand is, hand cannot really claim that I am because of myself. Or the legs cannot claim I sustain myself. Can they claim? No. The hands are what they are because of the support that the rest of the body gives them. And every organ in the body, on account of the support and the cooperation that comes from the rest of the body, rest of the organs and limbs. None of them is independent. None of them are isolated. So we are like that. There isn't any connection between us, and no connection between us and our children in one unit have taken us some projects of what they call Swachh Ganga, just a project, cleaning Ganga. So they were doing some research. And what kind of trees are there along the bank of the Ganges? What sort of creatures are there in the water and around the Ganges? And how all of them are required for one ecological harmony. So one of these creatures was a venomous snake. Says, Swami, one of the creatures, one of the species of this snake, venomous snake. I said, why do you want to save that? It's a venomous snake. It will kill you. Why do you want to save that? You want to save the whole nature? You want to save the snakes also? And then all these venomous snakes? Poisonous snakes? Yes, Swamiji. It may not directly benefit us. But what the poisonous snake does affects something here, that affects something there, that affects something here, that affects something there, that affects something there, and that affects me. We have a long connection, and we perhaps have very little understanding of the nature or ecological balance to see those connections. But the scientists who study these things in great detail discover how every creature which is anywhere has some way or the other contributes to our life. Everything that is everywhere, including snakes and lions and tigers and whatever they are, all of them contribute to being to what we are, our well-being. Meaning that we can sustain ourselves only when the whole universe is there, doing what it is doing. Human being may not know, and they were out of greed, out of insensitivity. We keep on destroying parts of nature for satisfying our greed, satisfying our cravings. We destroy things, not realizing how it affects us. Only after many years that we realize that what all we did with the nature has created a situation called global warming, which of course people are not ready to accept. That is another thing. It's a hoax, they say. All something created by China and created by all this international scientific community, They just want to take advantage of us. There is no global warming. It is like burying your head, in the sand and not seeing what the reality is, which may be a convenient thing to do for achieving your short-term goals, not realizing what long-term pain it causes. But these scientists have discovered how the whole nature is one organic whole. It's a very beautiful concept which is there in the Vedas from the time immemorial. That is why the Vedas say that the whole universe is manifestation of Ishvara. And there is a hymn called Purusha Suktam, which is the hymn praising or extolling Ishvara or God who is manifest as the universe. And how the universe is one organic whole is beautifully described. Just as our body is one organic whole, having different limbs and organs, so also this universal person, they call a cosmic person. What's the universe? A cosmic person. When you call it person, understand that it is an organic, live thing. Meaning that the Vedas do not look upon the universe as something inert, something meant for our enjoyment, something meant for exploiting. They look upon that as an organic whole, as one live system. And so Purusha Sukta describes how of this cosmic person, the sun is the eyes, the moon is the mind, earth is the feet, heaven is the head, the directions are the ears, fire is the mouth. Now we see no connection with fire and sun and quarters. But when we see that all of them form the different limbs of the cosmic person, then we can say how all of this is connected by oneself. And thereby Arjuna, understand that you are a part of the whole scheme, which is all interdependent, where everything contributes to the well-being of everything else, just by doing what they do. As far as the whole nature is concerned, other than human being, which includes sentient and insentient, all of them, all live creatures, at the same time all the insentient things like water and earth and air and whatever, all of these in fact constitute one whole, and all of them have a contribution in our life. Each element, if you see, as Lord Krishna also points out, we'll be seeing later, as to how each one does its own job. Each element in the universe is appointed to do something. And every element does what it is appointed to do very sincerely, without fail. So sun is appointed to illumine the world, to rise at a given time in the morning and set at a given time in the evening, which is what the sun does. The moon is appointed to rise at a given time in the evening and set at a given time. The moon does that. The stars also do their job. The lightning does its job. The fire does its job. Every element does the job that is appointed to do. Means everything is programmed, and therefore they do not have the freedom to violate this law. They are programmed to function in a harmonious manner. All of this is recognized by the Vedas from ancient times. When you said yajna or cooperative effort, that's what it means. How the whole universe, all the elements of the universe are interconnected and interdependent by a spirit of cooperation, by a spirit of offering. Because cooperation always requires an offering. We cannot be cooperating with somebody without having to do something, without having to offer something. So this is yajna. The whole universe is there as though a cosmic yajna is going on, a cosmic sacrifice. There is no fire sacrifice. What is it? There is an offering. So as we said just in the beginning, that in yajna the main element is making offering. Not what you offer or where you offer, that you offer is important. And that spirit we find in everything, including every atom and every molecule and every electron. If you study, we'll find that directly or indirectly it offers itself and contributes into the harmony of the whole universe. Meaning that human being also has to do. Now we need to be told that. Other elements don't need to be told because they are already programmed to do. Therefore, they do not have the freedom to violate this law or this harmony. We have what we call the free will, which we can abuse and therefore we can violate. We can violate this ordinary universe. Why? Because of our inner problems. Well, Lord Krishna will say, what makes us violate the order? I mean, because we are selfish. Selfishness is there in the human being. The selfishness brings about all the attachment and aversion. That brings about the anger, and that brings about the greed, and that brings about cravings. So this kama, krodha, lobha, the cravings and anger and the greed, which is we have. Nobody has that. Because Swami, everybody has craving. All creatures have craving. They don't have the craving like human being has. What is called craving, when we do not observe boundaries, that's called craving. Simply fulfilling our needs is not craving. If there is hunger and you eat the food for appeasing your hunger, that's quite in order. Meaning that there will be provision for that in nature. Where the problem comes is that even when I am not aware, even when my hunger is appeased, the food is attractive, tempting, then I can have one more slice of pizza, followed by one big, helping of ice cream, and followed by yet something else. Whether my stomach can accommodate or not, whether I need it or not, I do it because my palate wants it. That is called craving, where we are forced or compelled to, in fact, cross the boundaries. When we cannot maintain the boundaries, this craving is a problem that human being has. No other creature consumes more than what they need. Even if you give good food to your dog likes a certain thing. You know, we train our dogs to like certain things. Otherwise, dogs are God has created them, and we train them to like this food and that food and stuff like that. And we also spoil the birds because by giving them. So every morning they give some biscuits and so the birds come, Okay, but still, it is not that a crow comes and finishes all the biscuits. No, he will take only what it can, what it needs. As far as nature is concerned, they all take what they need, no more than that. If we were crow, what we would do? Not only we'll fill up the stomach, but we'll have a little bag with us and take a few things with us and take it out, in our nest and then keep it for later. So you may get hungry at 4 o'clock. I've already eaten food at 1 o'clock. No, keep them at 4 o'clock you may feel hungry. At 6 o'clock you may need this. And so 6:30 I have coffee and then 8 o'clock I have breakfast and 10 o'clock I have juice and 12 o'clock I have fruits and then 1 o'clock I have lunch and 3 o'clock I have coffee and 4 o'clock I have snacks and all this stuff. This is called indulgence, where the boundaries are violated. This is all violence. Meaning this kind of violation is possible for the human being. Therefore, niyatam kuru karmatvam. Only remain in your boundaries. Do what is right. Do not violate your boundaries. Do not be compelled or prompted by these temptations, by the cravings, etc. All of this is involved in niyatam kuru. If you just observe the nature as to how rest of nature functions, and that will give us an idea or understanding of how we should also function. Although, fortunately, in the scriptures, specific things are being told. And do this and don't do that. Because human beings have the freedom to violate and therefore do this. So, niyatam kuru karmatvam. Here, Arjuna, you perform what you are appointed to do. But this crummy action, I don't like my action. I don't like my duty. I would like to rather do that thing. You know what my friend does? He gets much more silent than I get. His job is, Swamiji, really something that is visibility, and I am at the back office and nobody knows what I am doing. So then we have our own problems about, even though duty comes to us, then I don't like this because it doesn't give me visibility. It doesn't give me as much income as it gives to somebody else. So we judge what our action is based on some extraneous factors, and thus your likes and dislikes is what we have to do also. Niyatam kuru karmatvam. Do what is required to be done without likes and dislikes. Meaning that do it with a spirit of accepting happiness, enjoy what you do. So this is what Lord Krishna teaches here in this section that we have selected. It starts with this niyatam kuru. Remember that all of this is being told ultimately for us to be happy. There is no other reason. We are not interested, we are only interested in ourselves, basically. All spirituality and everything is meant for us. And what do we want? We have one simple need. What is that need? To be happy. And then all this teaching that Lord Krishna imparts must be connected. So how it is connected to me personally, and how it can contribute to my happiness. That's our job. Meaning that we have to connect the teaching of Lord Krishna to our own life, then it becomes meaningful to us. So, Lord Krishna started with this, niyatam, may you perform your duties, obligatory duties. We will continue tomorrow. Om Purnamada पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरि ओम। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम।